Welcome to Indiana Basketball Weekly on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your co-host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in the other co-host for the show. First up, 1981 national champion, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, I got a question for you, Mike.
Sure,
Is there a reason why we don't play the IU fight song anymore at the beginning of the show? Did we get busted by them for not paying royalties for that? Or
YouTube busted us for it. So, if you get
did they really?
Yeah, if you get written permission from IU, we can do it though.
Okay. Do we need seriously? They bust us for that?
Call of Duty.
Yes, it's copyrighted.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Now you do. Now you can add that to all the other things you don't know. Also, we have these better looking.
So
what? What?
So for a while, can we just do? Was the Dinah Ross Supremes? I'm coming up. I got the world.
I think you and Collin are.
Steve, we should just sing it. You got some great vocals.
Yeah, that's what I was
Steve.
going to say. You guys could just sing it. And then the thing is this, Steve's getting old enough, he's probably a little hunched over as old as he is, that we could get him a mop.
little.
He could be like Martha and sing it, just like they used to before the games on Channel 4. We get him a hairnet and a little skirt. That'd be awesome.
Here's the deal.
With
all three of you, here's the deal with all three of you. I have more hair on my head than the three of you combined.
What's that mean?
I'm
That's
60.
not true.
I have to get a haircut.
You let yourself go. You look at it.
Yeah. No, I have the ability to let myself go, Collin. You guys all need to trim, shave, paste. Cole, I've seen your dad. You're in trouble.
Oh,
yeah.
That's me. Jeez.
And I've seen your brother. You're in big trouble.
I guarantee you this. Ross is sitting somewhere worrying about what he's going to have to look forward to in 30 years.
Have you seen the movie Aquaman? Have you seen the movie Aquaman with Jason Momoa? Ross makes Jason Momoa look like he's bald. This kid's got more hair on his head than it's amazing.
All right, so
Steelers did have the flow.
So of course we have Collin Hartman.
He's got the flow.
Championship. Say hi, Collin, while Steve hogs the intro.
Hey guys.
And of course the Indiana basketball beat writer from Indiana University, Cole Hanna. How you doing, Cole?
Doing good. We finally got a win to talk about now, so doing better.
Good Lord.
All right. So
hey, I want to talk about too. I want to congratulate Cole. Cole has been recognized by the university. They're going to give him credit for the work he's doing for us. The university is going to give him school credit for the outstanding work and the program that we're trying to create with partnering with college sports media departments. And Cole, congratulations to you. You've done a phenomenal job. I know Galen is very happy, and I got emailed from Galen's superiors, and I've got a few documents to fill out, but you're going to get your credit. And I think that what you're going to be able to do, Cole, is you're going to be able to put this on your resume and say it's practical work experience and not just, it's lab work. It's real work. It's not just,
congrats, big fella.
Learning, education. So congratulations, Cole. Very, very well done, buddy. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right. So let's start off with Cole. I know what sticks out to me. There's two things that stick out to me when I look at the stat sheet. What stands out to you, Cole?
Yeah, well, the two big things to me are the three-point shooting, 10 of 20, with where they've been the past few weeks. It's a huge improvement. And the other big thing to me is the offensive rebounding tonight. 20 offensive rebounds for IU to only 14 for Michigan State. And Michigan State was the number one offensive rebounding team in the Big Ten. So for IU to be able to win that battle, that's a huge win for them tonight on the stat sheet. Overall, it was not a great shooting night, only 38.9%. But, you knock down a few three-point shots, you can kind of remedy that. But, for the most part, they kept, turnovers were not too high, 13 for, a game with overtime minutes being added onto that. That's not that bad. It's the big things are just the three-point shooting and, the offensive rebounding. 13 of 19 from the free throw line is pretty good. Michigan State looked like IU shooting free throws tonight. So for them to, win the free throw battle is big.
Yeah, and I think in the end, the difference in this game were the rebounds, Steve, and the free throw shooting. I mean, Michigan State was 8 for 22 Most of that damage was done by one player, but 8 for 22 in a game you lose by 4 points. This reminds me of being an Indiana fan in the Illinois game at the end of last season, where it's a game you lose by one and you miss like 500 free throws.
I want to touch back on what Cole said about our shooting. I understand, our shooting percentage wasn't well, but Cole, is it right to say we hit the shots when we needed to hit shots?
Yeah.
And,
there was a lot of timely 3-point
shots. Yeah, and we stepped up and we shot them with confidence, and we didn't have a great percentage. I get that. 4 for 19 from 3 and 19 for 66 I'm seeing here for 2 is what I'm seeing in the box score. Am I looking at the same one?
Yeah.
They were 10 of 20.
This is a different box. Yeah, this is a different game. What the hell?
Come on, Risley. Get your stuff together. Be
Okay,
prepared. You know what? You just can't show up and win. You have to prepare the win.
Steve's the one that says he always prepares.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. But no, what I felt was in the course of the game, while we didn't necessarily shoot well, we did things at a time when we had to do things, which is the first time we've seen Indiana do this in a long time.
Yeah, and Collin, the thing that stood out to me was you got something off the bench tonight. Fitchner hits a 3. Davis played great, I thought, especially for as much time as he's missed. Forrester played well. I mean, right there, those 3 guys. This team, even with injuries, there's a lot of guys that can play basketball on here.
Yeah, and I prayers up for Juwan Morgan. I pray to God that he's fine. I'm assuming that he is. Just out of good mindset, but I mean, we had to have guys come off the bench and play tonight, otherwise we would have blown out. Just the nature of playing at Michigan State with their fast tempo and everything. But I think the guys off the bench really stepped up and gave us a lift that we haven't had this year from the bench. And I know you guys can all agree with me on that. Is we haven't had that lift, and we've always lost 2 or 3 steps, and the bench players come in. And to have guys step up and play well and play through injuries and stuff like that is very, it's a good thing to be able to have a good conversation about that topic.
Yeah, Collin, we had 2 players off the bench at double digits. Deron Davis had 12 and Devontae had 11. When's the last time we saw that? When's the last time we saw that? We had 2 bench players one bench player getting double figures. We had 2 tonight. I mean, that's great.
And how about some
Mike, you're not a fan of Devontae Green. Mike,
no, I'm not.
Are you now a fan
Especially
of
after
Devontae
what
Green
I saw tonight. He gave the game away.
Okay.
I mean, you're looking at it. He gets double
We
teams.
won the game.
I don't care.
He didn't give it away.
I don't care.
He tried to give it away, but
he gave it away
with
2 plays back-to-back where he basically peed his pants when he got double-teamed, and instead of stepping through strong, using a timeout or dribbling out or dribbling back out of it, he gives the ball up where we could have finished the game, and then they come right back, and he runs under a screen to give up a 3. So, I still have a problem with Devontae Green, and I always have a problem as a coach with somebody that I'm suspending for conduct detrimental to the team. And I don't care what that conduct is.
I love Devontae Green. I think
you can
Devontae
love him
Green
all
is
you
an
want.
important cog in this.
Love him all you want, but he made 2 gigantic mistakes. And as a point guard, you should not be pissing
Mike,
your pants.
I do 2 shows a day with you, and I put up with gigantic mistakes all day with you.
I know.
So what the hell?
Yeah, the gigantic mistake was me asking you to do the Daily Show instead of Collin or Cole. He also...
You're welcome, too. I would love
the
to
other
sleep
thing is
in
this.
on 9 o'clock. It was a beautiful rainy day today, and I got to sleep in, and I didn't have to get up and listen to your ass.
Well, the other thing is
ramble
this.
on about something.
You're also looking
stupid
at
thing.
Devontae with 4 turnovers, which is more than anybody had on the team.
He handled the ball more than anybody else, Mike.
No,
Come on.
Fennessy did. Fennessy had 0 turnovers. Fennessy, I'll tell you what, nobody will bring Fennessy up here because his stat sheet doesn't look that great, but he was putting the ball in the position it needed to be to get the job done. And I thought Al Durham
Defensively, Fennessy was really good, too.
Yeah.
I thought he made Winston work.
The whole team was great defensively tonight.
Yes.
I think Archie Miller figured out how to communicate is what I think happened more than anything tonight. I think – what?
Did you see the backside rotations on the double? On the double on the post? You see the backside drops and everything like that with the guards dropping in so they couldn't throw block to block?
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's like the first time
somehow they
we've seen,
miraculously learned. Yeah, Collin, you're right. I mean, these guys have learned to play defense in the last 2 days. I mean, you're right, Colin. They dropped back down. They had coverage. They took the passing lanes away. They took the driving lanes away. I thought there was more pressure on perimeter shooting than we normally do. I still would like to see it be better. But everything was 2 steps forward and no steps backwards today. And it's the win is great. The win is great, but the effort is greater because we finally saw an Indiana basketball team play like an Indiana basketball team.
Well, the effort is what led to.
Am I right or wrong here?
The effort is what led to.
Yeah, I mean, the effort's there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's more important than the win.
And
I mean, I thought even if we
wait a
lost
second though, because I do want to
76
bring up one thing, Cole. Our last show, Steve was bitching, and I told him everything was fine because I thought there was effort in the Rutgers game, and Steve yelled at me.
Yeah. I mean,
I was at the Rutgers game.
I said
there's
Cole.
no comparison between. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, Mister. My cell phone doesn't work in New York City. Yeah, we'll get
It's
there.
not in New York City, first of all.
Goddamn, biggest city in the
Rutgers
world.
is not as in, it's not in New York City.
You're
by
across
the
the
way.
Hudson River from New York City, you idiot. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not
I
driving
thought-
back to my hotel. Not in New York
Once
City.
again, he has T-Mobile. You don't get service anywhere.
No, I switched to Verizon.
Okay,
did
so
you?
we won't get
Oh.
T-Mobile as a sponsor, will we?
But we can get Verizon because he just said that he switched to Verizon.
I think that there was no, and I'm sorry, I'm giddy, I'm happy. There was no comparison in defensive effort versus Rutgers as there was tonight. And I can go back to, defense doesn't necessarily always win championships, but if you don't play it, it'll lose you championships.
I think the effort
This
was
was a
there.
defensive masterpiece for Indiana tonight.
There's a big
based on what they
difference
were able to
between
do.
this and Rutgers, Steve. I think the defense
Yeah.
was there. I think they were undersized. You throw Deron Davis in here. Deron Davis is a bull.
Yeah.
He's a grown man.
He's a
that
player.
makes a big difference when
Yeah.
he's there.
And another thing on Deron Davis, too, that's a 52% free throw shooter that had 4 clutch free throws and goes 3 of 4 at the line.
Yeah, especially
So,
the last
Yeah.
game.
That's
I don't know
huge.
about you guys,
Yeah.
but I was hoping he would at least make one so he couldn't lose the game at the gun.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking before those free throws. But another thing I thought, too, on the effort level, I thought it was there both games. But I thought Rutgers, the effort was there, but when Rutgers made the run, the confidence level wasn't there. I thought with Michigan State, we knocked down some outside shots, and you could see guys getting confident, and that just raised their intensity level to, even higher.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to play with effort, but the confidence level had to get there, and it wasn't there against Rutgers. It was there tonight against Michigan State.
So Collin Hartman,
Yep.
what changed
That's
tonight?
me.
Collin, you know Archie Miller. You played for him. What come to Jesus thing changed for Indiana this game from the last game? What changed in your eyes?
I don't think there was like a come to Jesus moment. I think that there was a little bit of that in the sense that we had lost 7 in a row as Indiana University. It's one of the most talented teams in the Big Ten, if not the country, in my opinion, talent-wise. But, I mean, if you watch the coach and you watch the players and you watch the bench, guys had a different demeanor tonight. They had a different sense of urgency. They had, and it all translated to the hustle. It translated to diving on the floor. It translated to Juwan getting hurt, unfortunately. But you have to put yourself in those situations to be able to come up with the ball. I think that we were a lot more scrappy tonight. And I honest to God, I saw Coach, finally dropping F-bombs and climbing in dudes. And I think it's finally clicking in the guys' minds. And I don't know what's going on in the locker room or who pulled who aside or, who got up in practice and cussed somebody out or whatever it was. But I think there was some degree of that just because as an Indiana University, you have a team that's talented who's in 7 in a row. There's got to be a point where it either breaks you or it bothers you enough and hurts your pride enough to where you want to change things. I'd be really, really curious to see who it was behind, outside of the lines or in the lines of practice that stepped up and really, changed that.
Yeah. Okay. Now you just gave me 5 more questions to ask here. If you let me ask some questions here of all you guys, Mike. You're a coach, Mike, and I think you're a great coach, Mike. For what you've done coaching and how you talk about coaching, the game, you know how to coach. I give you that. I prop you on that one big time. Did you see? I saw Archie Miller coaching differently today than I've seen him coach all season. I mean, Collin kind of alluded to it. He was. You could read his mouth. You can see,
this,
but
Steve?
I thought his intensity to the game was different than it was the frustration to the game. Am I right or wrong? Or what do you think, Mike?
This is what I think happened, because Archie talked about this before the game, talking about having cohesive huddles on the court amongst themselves. I think you saw him get even more animated because he saw that he was finally getting what he wanted. And he wanted to make sure that he didn't have the letdown he had at Rutgers. Because when you have a team that has a tendency to lose concentration, it's kind of like being a jockey and you got to whip the horse to get to the finish. And I think he was just trying to make sure that he kept these guys' heads in the game. And if you noticed, when they came off the court after things would start to go bad and he'd use the timeout, the one thing you saw him getting in people's asses a little bit more than normal. And I think that basically he saw that he was finally getting what he wanted, and he wanted to make sure that didn't disappear the way it has in the past.
Mike, would it be fair to ask you this question? And this is what I just wrote down when you were saying that, because I think it's great insight. I felt, anybody jump in here, I felt that tonight Archie Miller was fighting more for his team than fighting his team in coaching.
Exactly.
That's kind of how.
Yeah. Because
how
I think this is the first time
he was fighting more for his team. His team was responding to him. He was fighting more for his team than he was getting on the huddle and just fighting his freaking team.
Hey,
Collin,
and if you notice, how about this? Real
man.
Quick, if you watch Tom Izzo was fighting his team tonight. Because nothing was going right.
Big time, yeah. They were out of sorts.
Nothing was going right.
Yeah.
And if you noticed, Tom Izzo is a guy that usually, he was more concentrated on the officials tonight than what he normally was. Archie was the opposite. His team was giving him what he wanted. Yeah.
Right.
And another thing I saw.
That means he's seeking help. Yeah. I'm sorry, Collin. Go ahead.
Another thing I saw, too, not necessarily coaching, but I saw the players get into each other a little bit, too. And that's something you haven't really seen most of the year.
I think it was the huddle after Devontae had the turnover, wasn't it? Or it was either that or that last-second shot. I remember a huddle where I saw somebody actually kind of grab somebody.
Yeah, there was some emotion from the team tonight, way more than we've seen for most of the year.
All right, so, Collin, let me ask you a question. And this is a big one.
Okay.
Juwan goes down. This team responds. I don't want to say this, are they maybe more resilient in fighting without relying on Juwan and all of them stepping up to the plate and doing their thing? I mean, was this you don't want to lose Juwan Morgan. In no way, shape, or form you're going to tournament do you want to lose Juwan Morgan. But did this help this team tonight that Juwan went down and these guys had to – you know these guys, Collin. You played with them. What do you think?
I don't know if it helped them, to be completely honest with you.
No, it's hard to say.
I think it didn't help the team, but it helped in a sense – like it didn't help the team long term, obviously, but it helped the team in a sense that it puts the oh shit factor. You know, like somebody's got to fill that, and there were some big shoes to fill, and I think that everybody, not one person, just tried to fill those shoes. I think that, heaven forbid, if Juwan, if this is something big, that the team has to understand this isn't the shoes that one person on the team can fill. It's going to have to be like it was tonight, 2-3 guys stepping in and playing a bigger role. So it's got to be, you know, I don't think that helped the team that he was out. I won't ever, you know, believe that. But I think that it did bring the oh shit sense of urgency factor to this team.
It changed the culture. It changed the culture.
Yeah. I mean, it opened
it changed the culture. Everybody says next man up. Somebody had to step up. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they knew they weren't going to win. Like, they had no shot to win if somebody didn't fill those shoes. It was like 2 or 3 guys tonight.
Yeah, so let me ask you guys this then. Here's a mid-show poll. All three of you, I'll ask you all three, who was the biggest factor in the game today for IU?
Deron Davis.
I got Deron Davis.
I'm saying Deron Davis. Yeah, no doubt. Mike?
You can't argue with me.
Yeah, it's Deron Davis. I mean, it could have been Justin Smith. He quit taking stupid shots. He had 10 rebounds. He played a great game.
He
But
played
he-
well,
blocks,
but
too.
he normally gets more minutes than Duran does. So I think that Duran was the biggest change in today's game.
Yeah.
He's never played that many minutes. He's never
I
played
just
that
wanted
well.
to bring Smith up because I think 10 rebounds against Michigan State's front line is pretty
It's
special.
unreal.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
He still drives me nuts when he's got the ball in his hands. But outside of that, he's a great basketball player, if that makes any sense. If we could just-
He's probably the best athlete on the team.
He made the
Probably
block
best
on
athlete
Winston
the
at the
team.
end.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
he
they
made the
blocked on
biggest
Winston at the
play.
end.
Yeah.
I mean, that saved the game.
But
really.
I think, and can we all just celebrate because we finally got Pfister off the block. He hit a damn 3-pointer. Finally, since December 22nd,
That was big for him.
we got
Well,
him.
if we could get
Yeah,
you to
we
call
hope
him,
he
Yeah, it was
needed
big
that.
for him.
if
Good
we
for
could
him.
get Steve to
Now
actually
maybe
call
he'll
him by his
contribute again.
name, Fitzner, instead of Pfister, then we'd have it made.
Fitzner, I'm sorry.
Step in the right
I
direction.
apologize. I apologize,
step.
Eric. Isn't that his first name, Eric? And then his first name,
Evan.
That's Evan.
Evan. All right.
No.
Hey,
much
what
of this,
are visiting
Colin?
hours? Do you have to
Colin?
be off the? Do you have to be off the phone when visiting hours close at the nursing home, or are you good?
Yeah, I do. I got to get my diaper, my defense change here in a
Diaper
minute.
change.
Cole,
Get the catheter
Colin,
right.
how much of this do you think that Michigan State came in and thought that Indiana was a soft team and they were going to waltz in this game?
You know, there
You can
probably
go- you
was
can go
a
ahead,
little.
Cole.
Yeah, I mean, there probably was a little bit of that. You know, I'm not going to say that's.
And my wife wrote that question down to ask. So that's my wife's contribution
Figured because it was a
to our
good
show
question.
tonight. She's a genius.
Your wife probably writes
Yeah,
down
great
half your
question.
questions, Steve.
Yeah, I
She
would
writes down
say
95% of
when-
them.
Yeah,
My
I would
wife
say
is
this
smoking
when-
hot.
Hey, could you let Cole answer the question, please?
I would say this one was more motivated by what IU did versus what Michigan State did, but there could have been a little bit of that factored in. I mean, certainly IU has lost that intimidation factor this season, yeah, if you want to argue that. But I wouldn't say that's the reason they won. I would think this was more about what IU did than what Michigan State did. You know, IU was knocking down open shots, and they haven't done that all year.
Agreed.
Justin Smith making big blocks. You know, I mean, that's stuff IU's doing versus stuff Michigan State's giving them.
Well, how about this, Steve? The other problem here with
Yeah.
that theory is they're coming off a double-digit loss at Purdue on Sunday. Usually you don't want,
yeah.
and Tom Izzo had all week to prepare for this game. I really doubt that maybe some players take it that way, but I doubt coming off a loss that was the mentality.
Let me intervene.
Well, here's
here.
the deal.
There's no way. It's not coaches, though. It's the players took it.
Here's what you need to know.
If
Yeah,
that,
but after
tweeted
you get
things-
your ass kicked, Colin, doesn't that really matter less to you after you get embarrassed? Because Purdue did embarrass them pretty good, even though they made a comeback at the end.
Oh yeah. Well,
I've-
all I'm saying is it's not
here
coaches,
you go.
though. It's not. Knowing
All
him.
right. I've already
It is
tweeted
not.
Dane Fife. I've already tweeted Dane and said, welcome home to Indiana. You got your ass kicked by Indiana and Purdue. I've already sent that tweet to him. Don't worry about that. I'll get a reply here in a few minutes after he calms down.
You know the game
And
was
then
in Michigan, right,
tweeted,
Steve?
yeah, but he got beat by 2 Indiana teams, you idiot.
Yeah, but why would you
Yeah,
say
he's
welcome
from Indiana,
home if
yeah.
he's in Michigan?
Yeah, well, welcome back to Indiana, where he played basketball, and 2 Indiana teams, Purdue and Indiana, just kicked their ass. All right, or
Okay.
beat them. They won. So he came to Indiana. Welcome home, buddy. Yeah, there you go. And I also tweeted Larry Rink and asked for his surgical analysis of, as a cardiologist, what his surgical analysis
Dr.
is.
Rink does not
of,
have a Twitter.
Yeah. Plus, also, Steve.
I've got a cell phone number. I've got a
Steve,
cell phone
I
number.
want to bring up one other thing to you about Dane Fife. I don't know if you know this or not, but he was born in Michigan.
He played at IU. He's a
Drop-
Hoosier.
Okay. And he
Drop-
played his
drop
high
the
school
mic.
basketball in Michigan.
I didn't really text him or tweet him anyway, so
Yeah,
I'm not
we
going
know.
to.
I mean, basically, 90% of the stuff you say I don't believe anyways.
It's comical. Okay, so before we move on, Colin, what else? Cole and Mike, all of us pitch in. What else did we see that Indiana did great tonight? What else? What were the nuances, Colin, that you saw a change in that we've been crying for all year? That you saw consistency in for the entire 40 minutes? I thought effort. I'm going to say effort.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, effort's
Cole, what did you see?
Effort's the number one thing. I think that the biggest thing was the bench, and just seeing how
good, fair.
active they were in the huddles, how active they were during the plays. There was a different mindset going into this game as a team, and you can see that reflect on the bench. The guys on the floor are supposed to play hard. Some of them haven't in the last 7 games, but the team today had a different mindset. You could see that obviously through the court, but you could also see that throughout the bench. You know, guys were up on when guys got on the floor, X, Y, and Z, you know, rebounds, defensive stops, timeouts. They were up and on the floor really quick. It's just there was a different mindset from the team as a whole today.
All right, so Mike, I did not feel this was a desperation mindset. I think right on spot on. I thought it was a resolve mindset. What do you think? Was it a desperation mindset or a resolve mindset?
I think when you're 12-9, resolve can come out of desperation. Their backs were up against the wall, and in the end, that was the difference because Michigan State doesn't have to worry about making the tournament. Right now, Indiana has to fight for their lives if they want anything. So this is where you find
a wounded animal is the most dangerous.
Yeah, it's just like Steve on Big Brother when somebody's about to be voted out. Don't they fight and scratch and claw to stay in?
I'll find out tonight. It's coming on in about an hour and 15 minutes here. Yeah, I'll find out.
Good God.
They have the power veto tonight.
Oh yeah, he watches all the stupid shit.
Joey Lawrence, and some chick from Atlanta Housewives is on the block tonight.
I've never even heard of Atlanta Housewives. Is that a new minor league baseball team?
No. And the guy who used to be married to Drew Barrymore has got the key. He's got the power. He's the head of house.
Come on, Mr. L.A. Nobody cares.
You got to watch the show. It's a great show.
You know, Steve sits there and watches those shows with these sunglasses on.
I do. I don't go anywhere in L.A. without my sunglasses. I got sunglasses on right now. I'm watching Tennessee. Their uniforms aren't orange. They're kind of greenish orange.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so
what else,
Cole,
Mike?
Cole, you're the beat writer. What does this do for Indiana now? Are we solid? Are we now in the tournament? I mean, is this a quad 1 win that we now carry? This is huge. We got Marquette, we got Louisville, we got this win. Or,
I mean,
are
certainly
we still in a fight for our lives?
Well, I mean, they still have to fight. I mean, they have 13 wins, right? I mean, they're not a lock for the tournament. Certainly, this greatly improves their chances. If the tournament were to start today, they would be in. I think we can all say that pretty confidently. But I mean, they're still going to have to fight.
Are we off the bubble right now?
No.
Dude, I know they're still on the bubble.
I think you're on the right side of the bubble
tournament.
now. You were on the wrong side of the bubble before the game. I think if this team goes 19-12, they get in. 18-13, they might now, especially if you get a home win against Iowa and a home win against Ohio State. You got to win against Michigan State. We play Michigan State again. You get that win again, which I guarantee you this: that second Michigan State's going to be damn near impossible to get.
Yeah, hopefully it's at home, but that really hasn't done much for us this year.
It's in Bloomington, but that doesn't matter because it's Michigan State.
They're going to have a different mindset coming in next time.
Yeah, they're going to.
But does this change? What does this, anybody answer? What does this change about IU's strategy from here on out now? With this is a monumental win for this basketball team.
Yeah, but this is the thing,
I mean,
Steve.
in so many ways.
Steve, Pan American beat you guys in 1981. This win, actually, if I'm a coach, doesn't mean shit. If we come out and we beat Iowa and play like this, then this win means something. Okay. If you go out and you lose to Iowa and you lose by 15 points, you're back in the same boat you were in before. You got one extra win, but big deal. You're still getting your ass kicked. So you have to be able to string performances like this together, I would think.
That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. That's exactly what I was getting at. It's a great win.
It don't matter. Great, we'll take it, but
it's a great win. It's on national TV. It's on ESPN. Jay Billis is there. Yeah, on the road. It's a Big Ten win on the road. It's first time since 2013. I think the announcer said that Indiana had won against a ranked team on the road.
Hey, let me ask you something real
you know,
quick, because you just brought up Jay Billis, and that brings up a good point. Jay Billis was kind of like
idiot.
Steve Risley. Hold on, he was kind of like Steve Risley.
Yeah, right.
And Steve Risley has a full head of hair. Jay Billis doesn't, but Jay Billis was on national TV tonight.
Yeah.
So does
I'm
hair
on the
really
air with
matter?
you guys, yeah.
Does hair really matter?
I'm a
Hair
freaking
don't
loser.
Hair don't
You know
make
what?
money.
I tell you what,
I'll
right
tell you
now,
that
I
now.
would rather be here with you three. I would rather be here with you three than on ESPN with Jay Billis. I'm having
That
more
touches
fun.
my heart, Steve. That
Yes,
touches my
me
heart.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Collin, I wanted to ask you, going back to, you were at the Rutgers game, right? Correct? Did you fly on a private jet with one of the some alumni that got you up there?
Yeah, I took my own private jet. I'm making that comment.
No, I don't think you took your own private jet.
He didn't play at UK,
No,
Steve.
no.
He doesn't have his own private jet.
Yeah, so exactly. But no,
Yeah.
I mean,
I have Air
what's the question
Risley.
you're getting at?
I-
Air
what-
Risley. Yeah,
how-
you don't travel anywhere.
Yeah.
What was? No, I don't. I hate
Air
I don't
Risley's
travel
what he
anymore.
calls his toilet.
Exactly.
Because you can barely breathe
what
the
was
air
what
because
was
of
the-
Risley.
What was the mindset? You're behind the bench. You were close to the huddle. How was the demeanor of that basketball team at Rutgers? What was it like there to sit there and watch it and see them once again fall apart? What was that all about?
I think that, and I'll go back to it. That's why I made the first statement that I made tonight was the intensity and the energy and the mindset of this team that just changed. The demeanor. It was different. Watching it on, that's why I kept going back to the bench. And I think quite candidly helped that we played at Michigan State in that kind of environment with that fan base and stuff like that, and that energy in the building, because at Rutgers, the fans just are terrible. They suck. It was over halfway empty. And it's a tough place to play in, and I think that the team, changed their mindset to something different tonight that worked. I don't know what was said, what was done, whatever. I don't care as long as it's duplicated. But I think that the energy in the building also helped fuel this team. And make no mistake about it, there was probably, especially right now, no harder place to win other than Wisconsin than in the Breslin Center. I never won there at IU, not even when we won the Big Ten championship, nothing. When we went Sweet 16, nothing. That place is hard to play in. The Izzo zone is crazy.
Well, I think this is only Indiana's second win in 23 years there.
Yeah, they were 1-22
22
over their last 23 games there. Yeah,
it's crazy. So I think that the energy, and I think that kind of fueled the mindset switch that happened with the team as a whole, and that's what fueled this team to be resilient when they got hit in the mouth. When Michigan State made their runs and everything. That's the biggest difference I saw was demeanor. And I was literally sitting right behind the bench, not by the band like you, Steve. I was sitting right behind the bench, and I could see the demeanor from Rutgers to Michigan State. Completely different day and night.
So what do you think? What do you think that Archie did? What do you played for him?
Sometimes you don't have to do anything. My guess is he did the same thing all year, and then maybe something just clicks, because sometimes it does.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen a team that suck for half a year, all of a sudden get hot and win something?
Well, that's one of the things I loved about Coach Miller. And that's why I think that's why I kept saying it. I think it's a team thing. The guys have to make this decision. I know there's a coaching aspect of it, but I think that because of what I'm about to say, it's my 75% the team to make this decision to do what they did tonight. Because the best thing about Coach Miller is you know what you're getting every single day. Eddie's going to come in. He's going to go to work. If you do your job the correct way, practice will be shorter. If you get in and get out of drills and do them correctly, we'll move forward. But if you don't do the drills correctly, we will stay in that drill. And so it's just things like that, little nuances that give the team confidence and give me confidence that he's doing his job. He doesn't change for anybody in any circumstance. So I think that
Collin, that's an interesting, it's very interesting. What you just said is totally very interesting to me, because if you do it well, practice will be shorter. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Right.
I know that when we were playing, we were like, we wanted to do it over and over again until it became natural for us. And we didn't want practices to be shorter. I mean, they were hard and they were brutal, and night was on our ass. But we didn't want to shorten practices. It's like, if we're not getting it right, we want to stay here until we have it so ingrained into our brain that we just, it becomes natural to us. So that's an interesting comment you just made.
But don't
really. I thought about that.
Don't twist it the way that you're.
If we get it right a couple times, we're done. We get out of here.
No. That's not how it is. Don't twist it the way that you're twisting it. You're twisting it. That's not the way it is.
Yeah. All right. Fair.
The way that it is, I don't care what you say. The way that it is that we have a time schedule. Okay, just like I guarantee Coach Knight did.
Mm-hmm.
We have time constraints now, but we had
there was a practice schedule, but we never followed it.
Practice schedule. There's a practice schedule, and if we if we do what we're supposed to do, we get out on the allotted time. Okay. If we don't do what we're supposed to do, we will stay in that drill much longer. So, I'm not going to let you twist it the way that it was, because that's how it is.
Well, no, and I wasn't trying to twist it. I just was asking because I know my mentality was we didn't leave until, like I said, we 2-hour practice became 4-hour practice real quick.
Yeah, but you can't
and
do
we
that
didn't know they were 4-hour practice.
Oh, no, we live in
I know.
4-hour practice.
There's a constraint,
There's no constraint now. 4 hours is the constraint. Yeah. 4 hours is the constraint. So we live in 4-hour practices if we don't do the.
All right, okay. I just want to say, if they think that they're going to get it right 2 times and they can go away, then is that really the mentality we want? Oh, that's the question I was asking. I wasn't trying to pin you down or trap you. Not at all. I'm just saying, I know in our era, we never even thought about time. We never saw the practice schedule. We just went out at 2:50, and we were taped, and we were greased, and we were Vaselined up.
Jesus.
We knew we were doing loose ball drills. We knew we were doing taking charge drills. And
That's weird stuff.
I know. It's
make all the fun you want to.
You're talking about something.
You can make all the fun you want to of it, Mike, but that's what it was. It was war.
You weren't putting Vaseline on. It's basketball. It's not a war.
You know, all that red paint on Assembly Hall on the floor is Collin and mine's blood. Is what it is.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Steve.
It's what it is.
But you know what I hate more than anything is anybody that compares any athletic event to a war, because that is absurd and it's crazy.
Okay.
How many people died? Did you have a best friend get blown up during practice? I mean, seriously, this pisses me off. I've had assistant coaches before that'll come out and say, "Oh, we're going to war." No, we're not. It's a bad analogy. You're going to go out and you're going to fight for a basketball. You're playing a game. And it's not to rip you about this, because anybody you ever hear try to equate a sporting event to a war, you going to have chicken pot pie?
Yeah, I'm going to chicken pot pie for dinner. Yeah, my wife wanted 3 calendars for dinner, and I'm picking my dinner out right now. I get pie. What do I want? Do I want coconut cream pie, banana cream pie, or lemon meringue pie? What kind of pie do I want for dinner?
Oh my I don't know. But
somebody help me out real quick.
I guarantee you this: that pie is going to feel like it was at a war.
I want banana cream pie. Banana cream pie. I got banana cream pie coming for dinner.
Oh my God!
We have a Marie calendar.
You know what? I do remember during.
He was. Hey, Mike,
I
that
remember
tells you 100% he was not listening to anything you were saying.
Yeah, because he
no.
You can't really respond to that.
Because, and I get what Mike says. I know. I've always hated it when people said that playing for about a night was like being in war. I hated that comment too. So, Mike, I apologize to you. It was a war in a sense that it was a battle. Probably a battle is a better word to use than war. That you went to battle.
Hey, you know what I realized? That was a stupid analogy. In 2014, the team I coached in Northern Kentucky, we're playing a team from Chicago, and there's a guy that lives right down the street from me by the name of Brett Bondurant, who had stepped on an IED a couple years before that, and he's the guy that's doing the coin toss for the game. And I hear my offensive coordinator tell the guys, "Oh, we're getting ready to go to war." At just that time, they announced Brett, who, has no legs. And I'm thinking, that's a dumb freaking analogy. And
yeah, I agree. I agree, Mike.
And I looked at him and I said,
I agree 100%.
This is what it is.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's a battle.
It's a game.
It's a game, and you want to win the game, and so it becomes a war of winning the game, not a war of
war mentality.
And war mentality, right?
You know what? You can't have a war mentality unless you can play basketball with somebody shooting a gun at you while you're doing it.
Right. You're so right, Mike. And I apologize.
That would be an
100%.
awesome game, though, wouldn't it? We'll see
We
who the tough guys are then.
Yeah. Basketball will all of a sudden become
so Cole,
much less of a sport.
What does Indiana need to do to keep this, make this be an asset to Indiana? This game, which I don't think is a huge thing for Indiana. It's a great win. It's
Oh, I disagree, Steve. I do think it's a huge thing, but you have to get the next one.
How do we capitalize off this win, Cole? How do we capitalize off this win?
Well, you hope they can get some confidence from this win. That they can take this, they can build upon it. Hopefully it'll help the outside shooting. If they shoot like they did from outside tonight the rest of the year, I mean, this team's going to be dangerous. So hopefully I think the intensity level needs to stay 20 offensive rebounds on Michigan State. If you can do that to Michigan State, you can do that to anyone in the conference. I don't care who
anybody
you're
in the country.
Yeah, anyone. Yeah, exactly. So, they need to keep that intensity level. I mean, hopefully, all of those struggles that they've had up to this point, for as many statistical issues you can point at and look and say that's the problem, it was between the ears. I mean, that was the biggest problem. So you hope winning this game can kind of get their confidence back, kind of snap them out of that slump they were in. But, they got to keep shooting better. They shot 10 of 20 tonight from three. They're not probably going to shoot that every game, but just get, solid numbers from beyond the arc. And, keep the intensity level high. They battled today. They fought Michigan State they made Michigan State work. I mean, 20 offensive rebounds, just keep doing that, make teams work and battle down low. Getting Deron Davis back will certainly help them on that front, too. If they do that, they'll be fine.
Collin, did you see a different Archie Miller tonight?
Yeah, I told you. It's just, I think that, and Mike addressed it, that they had to focus, he only had to focus more on, more coaching than motivation. He got to coach the game a little bit more than, just trying to get guys to go. And I think that makes his job easier, but at the end of the day, that's the biggest change that I saw in him. But I know that he's pissed and huddles and everything like that. He's still doing the same thing there. But I think that he was benefited by his players because he didn't have to coach the effort. It wasn't like that tonight.
Yeah.
You have to be a coach rather than a motivator.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Mike, we have Iowa at home on Thursday. We're getting into what we perceive to be the easier part of our schedule. As a coach, do you kind of keep digging now, or do you back off a little bit and give these guys some rest? And
oh, no, you can't back off right now. You got to let these guys
As a coach,
know.
Talk about this, Mike. Talk about this.
You got to let these guys know that when they get off the plane from Michigan State, you got to play Iowa next, and you got to forget this, because if you don't, in the end, this will mean absolutely nothing. Iowa's a team coming off a win against Michigan, so either they're going to have a ton of confidence coming in here and come in flying, or they're going to come in happier than hell. Either way, you've got to be ready to attack that. And if you let this win last more than tonight, you're going to have problems when you play Iowa.
Yep.
Okay. And where do we go from? I look at the schedule. Let me pull up the whole schedule.
It doesn't matter. They've got Iowa next.
Yeah, they got to beat Iowa next. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need to sit there and take a look at what we got.
They've got
Iowa. Okay, so we now have 4 home games in a row now. We play Iowa, Ohio State, Minnesota, and Purdue.
Collin, how many Minnesota's at Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota's on the road.
It's at Minnesota. Yeah, it's at Minnesota. Okay, you're right. It's at Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough road game. Minnesota's a good team.
Yeah, they're a bit. Yeah,
playing at the barn.
I played in that place. And that is horrible place to play in. You're 4 feet off the ground. You're on an ice rink. If it's the same building that I played in, which I think it is, Colin, you get a locker room the size of a closet. I'm sure Colin's closet in his mansion next to his jet is bigger than that locker room is where the team dress. Yeah. But we now have 3 or 4 home games. We play against teams. Ohio State, we should. Iowa, if we play today, that's on ESPN. Ohio State, it doesn't give a blessing. They're Big Ten, I'm assuming. And we've got Purdue at home.
That game.
And you're going to the Purdue game?
I'll be at the Ohio State game.
I may take my jet and fly into the Purdue game. I don't know.
You can borrow
money to pay gas for my jet.
Maybe you could go find a mentor before you get there, so you could have the right mindset.
Why don't we? You know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we get Colin? Why don't you and I just rent a tractor, and haul Goodpaster's trailer down to Bloomington, park it in the Cook Hall parking lot, and we just have a pregame party there, and we all go to the game there out of Goodpaster's trailer.
That would require you to come
I'm game.
and leave LA, Steve.
Never mind.
Steve's not allowed to leave LA. Donald Trump's thinking about building
I'm not allowed
a
to
wall
leave
to
LA.
keep him out.
I have an ankle. I have one of those ankle monitors on my head. I can't leave LA. No way. The schedule starts to favor us now, does it not?
No.
Colin,
this is Iowa. This is Iowa at Minnesota. Purdue, who's playing as well as anybody. Wisconsin, who's in the top 25. At Iowa. Michigan State at home. The only thing that favors Indiana is at Illinois and hosting Rutgers. They've got to win 3 of the next 4 games to have a shot here.
The schedule favors them in the sense that they have a lot of home games coming up. They play good teams. I mean, they cannot underestimate, look at the schedule and be like, we got this under control. They have home games. That's a positive of the remaining schedule. But, yeah, they're playing good teams still. I mean, they have 3 more games against top 25 teams right now.
Yeah, and they've got 7 games against teams that all have a good shot to be in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But those are great quad 1 opportunities for us to bolster our position, too.
Yeah, but you can't really say that it's easier. So I still think if they get out of here,
playing the bulk of them at home.
If they get out of here 18-13, I think they make the tournament.
One,
it'll be kind of close.
We only have 3 road games left in the Big Ten, guys.
Well, this is the thing.
We go to Minnesota, we go to Iowa, and we go to Illinois. Other than that, we play everybody at home.
The way I look at this, Colin, is this. They've beaten Marquette. They've beaten Michigan State at Michigan State. They've beaten Louisville. If they get to 18 wins, you've probably got at least 1 win over Iowa, probably a win over Purdue and Wisconsin. I mean, that's 5 or 6 high-quality wins right there.
But are they going to look at, like, the bad losses that we've had? I mean,
the bad losses.
Have we had a bad loss? Have we had a bad loss?
Rutgers, I guess you could argue.
Well, we didn't get killed by
them. A bad loss to me is losing to Fort Wayne. Or losing to
that's a bad loss.
State.
I agree with you, Mike.
I don't think
entirely,
you can
Mike.
count.
That's a bad loss.
I don't think you can count any Big Ten team that you lose to here a bad loss.
Yeah, on the road, it's a bad loss. Yeah, I agree, Mike, entirely. We had a bad loss.
I don't think we should lose at home. I don't think we should have lost at home.
Who asked that question? Who asked that question?
Huh?
Probably Mike.
Who asked the question?
If it was a great question, it
Mike,
was probably
did you ask
Mike.
That? Yeah, it's a great question. Has Indiana?
I think
had
I did. I don't
loss?
even remember.
Has Indiana had a bad loss?
I mean, we probably look. Yeah. I just think that, in my opinion, losing to home to, somewhat mediocre teams in the Big Ten are bad losses.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too.
Right now,
I'm looking at IU's schedule right now. They are one of 6 teams in the country that have at least 3 quadrant 1 wins.
Yeah.
So
and if they get 18 wins, they've probably got 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you look at even Illinois and Rutgers have some decent wins. So it's not like
the Big Ten's a bitch. The Big Ten is a bitch. I mean, you go.
Oh, guaranteed.
Every day you go, whoever you play. But Michigan State found that out this weekend, didn't they?
Michigan got smacked last night, didn't they?
Yeah,
Michigan got smacked last night. Michigan State gets smacked.
Yeah,
they lost to Iowa. Michigan State comes in, loses to Purdue and Indiana now. There's no easy pathway for anybody in the Big Ten. And that's the parity, Mike, that you talk about so much, which you love about sports. And I know that means a lot to you as a coach, is parity. I know you've talked about that heavily about the Patriots.
I hate parity.
Because you hate the fact the Bengals get beat all the time. They're on the short end of parity all the time.
I know you're a Colts fan. They've been dominant for the last few
years. I'm no
years.
better than you. Exactly right.
We had a decent year this year. Hold on, we had a decent year this year.
If you don't win the Super Bowl, you had a bad year. Or don't get to the Super Bowl at least.
Next year is going to be Belichick against Frank Reich. It's going to be Colts and Cowboys in the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah. Well,
Belichick's going to be the new coach of the Cowboys.
You're saying Belichick's going to the Cowboys? You've lost your mind.
He's an idiot.
Belichick's going to the Cowboys. He's going to the Cowboys. we have it on authority. You got to listen to Survive in Advance. You got to listen to our show.
You learn all
we have it on
I'd rather
authority.
not. I talk to you guys maybe once, maybe twice a week, and that's more than enough for me.
What an asshole. I'll tell you what. That's it. Hey, as Steve would say, touche.
Touche. Well played.
That's an LA. That's an
Cole.
LA right there.
Cole.
Yeah.
What do we got to do to beat Iowa?
Well, I think you have to shoot the ball better than what they have. Shoot like they did against Michigan State. Iowa's got a big man named Tyler Cook who is going to present some problems for Juwan Morgan. Yeah, really good player. Getting Deron Davis back for this team to me is huge. I mean, what he gave them tonight was, I think, better than what anyone thought.
The question is going to be with that calf injury, can he continue to play?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's just been banged up so much this year. Hopefully it's not a big deal. I guess we'll see how he does against Iowa. But just the size he gives them is huge. I mean, he's probably the only actual center we have on the roster.
Steve, are you done with your questions yet?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Collin?
Oh, geez.
What's your opinion of
Hit me, Steve.
All right. Well, as long as we have intelligent stuff to talk about.
Yeah, well, go ahead. We'll just let it
Morgan, Juwan Morgan. Collin, what's your opinion of how bad is it? What do you think? I know your cardiologist buddy Larry Rink is working on his shoulder right now.
Wait a second. Real quick before you continue with this.
Hang on.
No,
let me finish.
I
worked 25 years in this industry.
Jeez.
I know about doctors. All right.
You're not a doctor. No, you're not a doctor. You're not calling cardiologists. You're not calling.
I played one on TV.
You worked for Pfizer.
I played one on TV.
The only thing you know about doctors is greasing them up there. All I know is this: is we let Steve Risley. I let Steve Risley on a Super Bowl
which is the number
preview
one
show,
drug. We
and he
had
knows nothing about football.
We had Norvasc. We had the three largest selling cardiovascular drugs of all time.
I know
cardiovascular.
You don't need to drive. Wait a second, Steve. You know cardiovascular? Do you know that if you go with a plant-based diet, that reverses all disease in the heart?
That's what some idiot that wants to sell you a plant-based diet book will tell
That's
you.
That's what some idiot said.
It really doesn't work that way, Mike.
No, it's absolutely true, Steve.
No,
it does.
That's another
you're
diet,
so full of shit,
keto
Steve.
Diet, plant-based
diet.
No,
the keto diet is not a plant-based diet. The keto diet is all meat. Yeah. Meat has carcinogens, and they block your blood flow. So don't sit there and say that you know about cardiology if you don't know about a plant-based diet.
Anybody in the world who's a good physiologist or physician will tell you, eat whatever you want, eat it in moderation. Do everything you do in moderation.
No, they won't. So people are going to tell you it's all right to ingest sugar.
Don't sit there and go to plant-based.
It's all right to go sugar.
This is basketball.
It doesn't matter. This is what makes our show better than everybody else's, Colin.
Yeah.
He's basketball weekly.
Yeah, Colin, shut up, Colin. You're out of your league right now.
Be quiet. Yeah, Steve's out of his league right now.
Hey, blow me out. Right now, I'm selling
it's Indiana basketball. You know that Indiana University turns out more doctors.
What?
Wait, you know that Indiana University turns out more doctors every year than any other college in America.
And doctors are taught by Big Pharma and the American Medical Association what they're supposed to teach and what works. And they are lied to because nobody... Wait a second. Nobody... Wait. Doctors...
Guys, I'm about to hang up.
See you later, Colin. But all I can tell you is this.
All right, let's get back to it.
If doctors cured people,
Colin, back to it.
They would lose money.
What do you?
Of
I mean,
course,
how
'cause you're
you
wrong.
know, Juwan? How do we know anything? Do you have any idea?
I'm optimistic. Obviously, I want Joe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we can all be is optimistic. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't. In my opinion, it didn't look serious. But he wears those T-shirts, those fat shirts, and he might. I just didn't see the shoulder move that much from the replay. So,
who was the player for us?
Surgeon,
was it Brian Evans that always wore the shoulder brace? Was it Brian Evans?
He did wear one for a while.
That always wore it. He wore one.
Jamo wore it for like a year and a half, so he's used to it, but it's going to bother him.
Yeah, well, that's a devastating loss to Indiana right now. If Juwan cannot recover from this quickly, get back in the mix, because I think a lot of things went right for Indiana. Yeah, we hope so. We got till Thursday, and hopefully we're playing Iowa at Indiana, right? So they're. Are we going to Iowa?
It's a home game. It's a home game.
It's a home game, yeah.
Home game, yeah.
So maybe we can rest him. If Deron Davis steps up and keeps playing like he played, that's a great thing. I was pleased to see other players step up tonight. I got a question for you, which I looked at the box score. McRoberts, is he injured, or why did he not? He's not on the box score.
He's hurt today.
He's hurt. Yeah.
He had a boot.
He's hurt. Okay. All right.
He had a boot on today.
He did the same with the boot before the game started?
No, I was watching Prelude
Young
to
Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
Celebrity.
Probably on Pornhub again.
There's another dadgum red carpet.
Get it in before the game starts.
Hey, bring the lotion.
All right. We've lost total control of this thing.
All right,
guys.
guys.
Back.
Bring the jargon.
Guys.
Well, the Vaseline, he's still got some left from his IU days.
Yeah, let me ask you all a question. Cole, Collin, Mike, you guys want to do a show? We got to get back to doing our weekly show because we are Indiana Basketball Weekly. So y'all want to do a show Wednesday night and not have to dissect the game and break it down and just talk about Indiana basketball a little bit. And anybody up for that, or do we just kind of stay with
we could preview Iowa Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, that works
Collin?
for me.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right.
All right.
We'll be back.
Everybody listening, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock LA time. I'll still be by the pool. My dogs will still be swimming. I've gotten home from Malibu Beach. And
here we go again.
It'll be 75 and it'll be sunny. And me and the dogs are going to attack the beach like it's a war. If my dogs aren't bleeding, it doesn't count.
I apologize about the war thing, Mike. That was a bad analogy. I accept full accountability of that. That's a bad analogy.
Okay.
My bad.
All right. We're going to
Wednesday
wrap
night
it
at
up.
8 o'clock.
Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. And Thursday night after the Iowa game. You can follow Collin Hartman at Collin Hartman 30. You can follow Cole Hanna at Cole Hanna 5. You can follow Steve Risley at S Risley 34. And you can follow The Grueling Truth at Grueling Truth. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify. Anywhere you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So, for Cole Hanna, Collin Hartman, Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster, and you all should feel sorry for us because we got to talk to Steve Risley every few days.